Oh hey! So it's been a long time since we moved into our new digs, and a lot has happened. I bought a house, devastated my back, and I'm pretty sure I have IBS now. For the uninitiated, my brother Stace and I moved our YouTube channels into our dad's store after he retired. It took a ton of work to get this place the way we wanted. We had to take everything down and then build it back up again, and there's actually a video, and you can check that link out in the description below. And basically, by the time we finished, that's where we left things off. So why don't we pick it up from there then, eh? My brother and I had been hustling all winter and spring to try and get this place ready, and the lease was running out on my apartment downtown. We had until the end of May to get all our stuff out of there and in here. That meant we had to finish up everything inside the building by that point, right? Because once we got everything in here, we're gonna be unloading for weeks probably. That meant we had to move everything in while we were finishing the building. And that sucked because we were trying to work in a space that was filling up with piles of stuff. Kind of felt like a person on the TV show Hoarders, just far less emotional. Like, I know those people are unwell, but they drive me f***ing crazy. So we moved piles and piles of stuff. I had over 200 computers to take out of my downtown apartment. Stace's F1 channel, Fiends, which we'll also have a link to in the description, didn't have quite as many accoutrements as this one does. So fast forward a bit, it's now time to start unpacking boxes. My dad also coughed up some space in the basement, which was very kind of him. My buddy Sid came by while I was setting up some shelves. We managed to put some more metal IKEA brar shelves down there, and it's funny because this basement used to be like the coziest place on earth, and it's hard to imagine that now when you look at it. We used to have a Lego town down here. We had a couple Lego towns, one when we were toddlers, and then again as adults. My dad used to have a living room space, and then eventually, you know, it all turned into storage. And long story short, it used to be pretty cool in that corner. Not cool as in cold, like it is now. So anyway, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to get things unpacked. You gotta keep in mind too, I was going through all of this with my soon wife-to-be, and I'm buying a house. So the very first house I've ever owned, we ended up purchasing one with a May move-in date. It's a little bit crazy considering I had to be out of my old apartment by the end of May. So we're doing all this at the same time, basically. To be honest, my back was so bad at this point, I was barely keeping it together. I was like snippy with people, and you know, I would work my ass off for a night, then I'd lie down and I wouldn't be able to like get out of bed for a while. It was just really bad. Not only that, if you pair that with the Vyvanse I'm taking for my ADHD and the sheer amount of diarrhea that it gives me, I was stressed out and wiping all the time. With all that though, I gotta be honest, it was a wicked summer. Sure. Getting this place into shape was a monumental task, and we're still kind of doing that. I bought a robot that's way too big for this space, and now we have to figure out what to do with it.
That's only one example.
The biggest project for me over the summer was the Heroes 3 Necropolis PC. I was primarily building this thing so that we could take it down in Chicago for VCF Midwest 2024. So I was under a bit of a time constraint, and this is something I've been working on for like a year at this point, and I never thought that it would get to a place where I felt like I was rushing it, but at the end there, man, that was down to the wire. At one point, the LED wires I bodged together broke the night before we had to leave. So I was in the studio like soldering and crapping myself again. I gotta say though, the hardest part about all of this is like, by the end of the summer, my back was so bad, I was running out of steam after like half an hour, 45 minutes. Like it would hurt to begin with. And then after 30 minutes on my feet, I needed to lie down because sitting just was not in the cards either. And don't get me started on sitting. Don't even get me started. one point during a month, my buddy Rory stopped by to paint the CCC logo that you see featured right behind us, and soon we'll be adding Stace's logo to this one. We also held a LAN here with our homies, a Windows XP LAN, and Rory felt so inspired by the LAN that he went home and made his own XP machine. And it's actually pretty dang cool. Sylvester the cat, who's a local neighborhood cat, at least that's what we call him, and he's out all the time. Keep your cats inside, people. But Sylvester stopped by every day and we gave him treats and lots of attention, so that was pretty cool. We also had our dad's mural guy, Chris, the painter, come by, and he updated some of the murals so they're a little more, you know, CCC and Fiends centric. Our dad also got Chris to add some pretty cool stuff to the back of the shop. If you're into classic rock, maybe you'll recognize these. We grew up on the classic rocks. I was raised on the rocks. As September approached, I went in for jaw surgery, which was pretty awful. I don't know if you know, but I had an abscess growing in my jaw for like 15 years or something. This is why it's so important that you go to the dentist, people. Shortly after that, after I'd healed up, Kristen and I made our way down to Chicago for a Vintage Computer Festival. What an awesome time that was. I got to meet lots of the friends that I've made doing this YouTube channel thing and talk to people in person just about some of the projects that we're working on and, you know, what their favorite type of dairy is. The food was wicked, and honest to God, the hotel was beautiful. I'm still not quite used to buildings with no gun signs on the front, but hey, that's America and I'm from Canada. Not that there's anything wrong with that, right, guys?
Please don't hurt me.
Anyway, I would say the trip to Chicago was a 10 out of 10, would totally do again. By the end of the trip though, my back was so bad, so like, I don't know. I probably shouldn't have gone, but in the long run, I felt like it was worth it, just for my own mirth and happiness levels. So let's talk about that back. After driving to Chicago and then back to Canada, it was rough, like really rough. Like we live in central Canada, so it was not like Chicago to Toronto, it was Chicago to Winnipeg. And it's funny because when I got home, I actually felt pretty good, but then every day for a week, it got progressively worse and worse and worse until I was lying in bed and had to pee in a Nalgene bottle. And the crappy part is I loved that Nalgene bottle. So I no longer use it. We threw it in the garbage because it was full of my pee. There's nothing I could do about that, and I couldn't get to the washroom, so I had to phone 911. 6 hours later, an ambulance shows up, like this is, you know, a war zone. I'm laying in bed. It's been so long I was worried about crapping. Would I crap myself? Probably not. I mean, I hope not. I don't know what I'd do in that situation. I don't know if I'd ever recover from the shame if I did. Long story short, I ended up in an ER, one of Canada's lovely public healthcare ERs, where a doctor told me it was all in my head and actually suggested a book to get rid of my pain. Thanks, pal. After that, I talked to my actual doctor, got an MRI done, and he said I had mild spinal stenosis caused by the bulging disc in my back, which meant that it was pressing on my nerves directly. And that's why my legs were like gelatin when I urinate. So I spent basically most of like October, late October to April lying down when I had surgery, which was wonderful and free. So thank you, Canadian public healthcare system. Even though that one doctor recommended a book, I had another one recommend laparoscopic surgery. So the craziest part was the backiotomy was coming up. So I proposed to my girlfriend 2 days before the surgery. She didn't even see it come in. I was super stoked. We're now gonna get married, which is awesome, but also that back surgery was right around the corner. And let me tell you, it sounded scarier than it actually was. I went in at like 7:30 in the morning and then walked out at 11 a.m. And it was amazing. Like all the pain in my legs was gone within 24 hours. I was able to stand up and pee totally normally, putting weight on both feet. And after waiting about 6 weeks for my to heal up, I was back in action. Stace and I just made our first brand deal with Insurgency Labs, and if you're interested in the video that we made about that, or their wicked open air case, you can go check that out. That link will also be in the description. Saturdays were for the builds. Am I right, boys? God. Or do I mean broskies? I feel like I can't say that without like puking in my mouth a little. Seriously though, shout out to our buddies Damien and Randy. They came by every Saturday on a regular basis and we tackled a lot of cool builds. There were things like the VCR PC, some of the jank stuff Stace was working on. They put a PS3 inside of an Xbox, or no wait, the other way around. We built the Insurgency Labs, open air desktops, and learned about a lot of cool shit. I also got to catch up on some edits, like I put together a video about the PC we built for my buddy Chad Anderson, who does stand-up comedy all around Canada.
I picked this up for free. And, oh,
That's all that's in there, eh?
yeah.
That video is also in the description. I also put together a video I shot like years ago at the old apartment where I took apart the Vaccumm that I used to clean computers and put it together. Because I didn't see one out there, so, you know, I thought maybe there are other Eureka chuds like myself who need help. Another thing I finished up this summer was a brand new shelving unit, which there will be a video for, more like a vlog style one, but we needed more access to some of the parts and tools that we're using to build PCs. So I rearranged everything and made it look nice and tidy. But keep an eye out for that one, because that one's gonna be fun. I go to Home Depot and spy on the guy that helped me. And then lastly, only like a month ago, I bought a 7-foot tall robot arcade strength tester for a children's arcade. It's like way bigger than I thought it would be. I thought it was only gonna take up a small amount of space in the studio, but now Stace is a little bit ticked off, and rightfully so, that it's such a burden, but I think it's super cool, and we're gonna hopefully do something with it. I don't wanna just have to punt it because we don't have space, but I don't know, we'll see. Destiny awaits. There will be a video about it soon though, so, you know. De Niro. So what's next? Well, we press on. We continue making cool content and wicked machines, filming ourselves, going to the bathroom, and you know, just enjoying this cool studio space that we have. Like to keep improving things as time goes on. You know, we replace these shelves, we'd like to replace some more. We're looking to put a little couch and a TV in here so people can feel more cozy when they're hanging out with us. Right now, the Robo Bop is kind of putting a damper on that, but that'll be figured out in good time, I'm sure. But you know what? With my back being mostly fixed, it's a little inflamed here and there sometimes. I'm doing all my exercises back in the gym. We're trying to get healthy. I'm trying to really take advantage of this moment to like get my life back. Without further ado, I'll let you get back to your life. Have a great time. Shout out to our patrons. They are the people that make the wheels turn around here. If you want to become a patron for only $1 a month, all you got to do is check out the link in the description. I know there's a lot of links I've been throwing at you in this video. This is like a catch-up one, so, or should I say ketchup, or catsup. Shout out Mr. Burns and all bald people. Have a great night, day, whatever it is.